We got the almond matcha latte. When I first started to work out, really, I just wanted to look like Gohan when he was like 10 years old and he fought Cell. Now that I'm in my mid-20s, really all that's happened is I kind of look more like Vegeta than anybody. I really wish somebody would have just told me these things that I'm about to tell you. I'm about to put you on some game. There's a couple of big mental shifts that I really wish I would have implemented earlier in my journey. And one of those is just accepting the fact that it's going to take a long time. It's going to take way longer than you think it's going to take. You're not going to be in shape by next summer. You're not going to be in shape maybe for at least 1 year. But think about it. When was the last time that you completely dedicated yourself to something for a full year? I know a lot of people probably wouldn't be able to say 2 or even 1 thing that they've dedicated themselves to for a whole year. And believe me, if you do truly dedicate yourself to something for a full year, you're going to see a lot of progress. But yeah, you're going to have to accept that it's going to take a lot longer than you think. And people always say some dumb shit like, oh, it's about the journey, not about the destination. Once you learn how to love the process, then, whatever. No, you want to get to the end destination. You want to get to a sick physique. You're going to have to accept that it's going to take time. I've never been a patient person in my life. Alex Hormozy once said something that really resonated with me. And it was something along the lines of patience is just finding something else to do in the meantime. And that just completely changed the way I think about it. Because I used to think that patience meant actively waiting for something. And nobody's good at actively waiting. You're not a fucking dog. You're not going to be waiting for, somebody to give you a treat. So I recently found out that I'm not patient, but what I'm very good at is forgetting shit. And if I just forget that I'm waiting, completely changes my mindset about something. You have to accept that it's going to take a long time, but you also have to remember that you don't actively have to wait for this. You can do multiple things at the same time. You can start to work out and then also pursue like another hobby at the same time, and it's actually probably going to help. That leads me into point number 2. It's another mindset shift, and it's accepting that you're just going to be different. If you truly want to get into shape, if you truly want to get good at anything, you have to accept that you're going to be different from people. And why is that? Because how many people in your life do you know that are exceptional at something, that are really good at something, that are in crazy shape, that are like wicked good at playing an instrument or like really good at a sport? Of those people that you're thinking about, they're not the common man. They're not the layman. They're fucking different. You think professional soccer players or professional athletes are out here doing the same thing that you and me are doing? No. There's a reason that they're professionals. It's their life. And you don't have to have it completely consume your life. You can still be well-rounded. You don't have to dedicate your life to the gym or to getting in shape. You do not have to bring Tupperware containers into the restaurant, man. You don't have to scare the hose like that. But if it helps you to do that, by all means. But you do have to shift your mindset in that people are going to think you're different. People are going to think you're weird, and that's okay. That just means that you're going in the right direction. If you want to look different, if you want to be in better shape, you're going to have to do things that you haven't been doing. And once you start to change your routines and your habits to better pursue your goals, you're going to change who you are. And what really impacted me the most was a lot of the time, the people that are first going to question you and that are going to question your change in habits are going to be the people closest to you. People like your family, people like your friends. Some people might start calling you out for like tracking your macros or weighing your food or, not wanting to eat the 5,000 calorie meal that they just had with 3 grams of protein. And they're going to think that you're weird for this. But they're also like 35% body fat. Just be prepared for these criticisms. Just know that it's going to happen. And just know that it means that you're going in the right direction. You could just fucking lie to people, bro. You don't have to explain to these people that you're intermittent fasting and that your food window is only 4 hours for today. You could just say that you already ate and they're not gonna know. I'm not really quite sure where I saw this, but it was something along the lines of when you're younger, you do everything in your power to fit in. You want to blend in with the crowd. And really, as you get older, everyone's just here trying to stand out. Everyone's here working the same job, doing the same commute, going on the train every day, doing the same thing every single day as other people going to 9 to 5s, and everybody's trying to stand out. So if you're younger right now and it's a little bit uncomfortable to stand out, just know that if you get used to being uncomfortable this early on in your life, it's only going to help you when you're older. because that's what everyone wants to do when they're older, is stand out. This is the last mindset shift tip that I wish somebody would have given me way back in the day. And that's going to be, you don't have to overthink it. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to overcomplicate it, because effort is going to beat perfection 100 times out of 100 times. As long as you go to the gym and you push yourself, you're going to make way more progress than if you have a perfect plan, perfect macros, perfect calories, and you go to the gym and you just fuck around. Think about it like this. You can always dial back the intensity. People go their entire lives without learning how to actually exert themselves in any way, mentally or physically. And they go their entire lives like this, and oftentimes they don't get anything accomplished. But the people that learn how to push themselves, the people who let things consume them and truly learn how to exert themselves physically and or mentally, those guys can always dial it back. Those guys can always take a rest. When you're running, it's way easier to slow down than to speed up. Learn how to push yourself. Whatever you're doing in the gym, do it with high intensity. And that kind of segues into the first practical implementation, which is going to be about rest. Now that I'm talking about it, I don't really regret working as hard as I did when I first started, because I did see a ton of results. And I think I did learn how to push myself. But looking back on things now, if I had properly implemented rest days, my results would have probably at least doubled. You have to go crazy in the gym, but when you're not in the gym, you have to give your body ample time to rest. And that's what I wasn't doing. I thought that if I felt like shit every single time that I was going into the gym, that meant that I was just going to make more progress. That's actually where I was very wrong. There were days where I was waking up early to go to school, would have no breakfast, would have like a handful of fucking almonds and a chicken breast for lunch, and then after school do soccer practice, come home from soccer practice, hit a calisthenics workout for like 45 minutes to an hour, and then have my first real meal of the day. And I would do that probably like 5 times a week. And I don't regret that one bit. That really just taught me how far I was able to push myself and how much I am able to give if I truly put my mind to it. But now I can understand that if I'm going to go that hard on a day, multiple days in a row, I have to give my body enough times to rest. I'm working out maybe 4 days in a row before I rest for 3 days, which honestly, there was a point in my life where thinking about 3 rest days in a row was like torture. But that's just because I didn't have anything else going on. And that's when we go back to the point I made earlier, that patience is just finding some other shit to do. You have to do something.
What worked to me is you gotta do something. You ever meet somebody that don't do nothing?
That's gonna make it easier. You gotta go do something else. But make sure you're getting adequate rest. If you're not making progress in the gym, you know for sure that you're pushing yourself hard every single session, that probably just means that you're not resting enough. Either you're not resting enough or your nutrition is not dialed in. That leads me to the next topic. Nutrition is another topic where you really don't have to overcomplicate it. Focus on getting more protein in, whether that be from chicken breast, from tuna, from protein powder, whatever makes it easiest for you. But also focus on getting more food from real food sources. Start eating more fruit, just start eating more vegetables. Really just stop eating like shit. If you boil it down, and every time you eat, you think to yourself, is this a healthy meal? Usually, 9 times out of 10, the answer boils down to yes or no. Very few times is there a middle ground of, this is kind of healthy. You could look down at your plate at dinner and be like, is this a healthy meal? And if it's not, just choose to eat something else. And sometimes I know that it's difficult in the moment when your parents make food and that shit has 8,000 calories and 3 grams of protein to its name. It's difficult to be like, hey, I don't want to eat this. Just eat less of it. Start cooking your own food. Start doing your own groceries. Nutrition doesn't have to be complicated. Nutrition can be made simple just by focusing on lean protein sources and more protein and real food. The rest will come later. Meal timing, meal frequency, macronutrient breakdown. While all of these things are also important, when you first start off, you don't want to lose the forest for the trees. Just think about getting more protein in from real food sources and being conscious about your calorie intake. Calories will differ based on your goals. If you want to lose weight, if you want to lose fat, you have to eat in a calorie deficit. If you want to gain weight, if you want to gain muscle mass, if you want to gain mass in general, you're going to have to eat more calories. I don't have any plans to make this video like highly edited or anything like that. This is truly just some of the ideas that I thought would have been helpful for me to have when I first started out on my journey. If you thought any of this was helpful, like, subscribe, whatever, share it with somebody else. If you have any advice that you wish somebody would have told you when you started working out, drop it in the comments section. I'm also curious to know. But yeah, that's it.